Hello, NAYGN. My name is Stephen Kruger. I'm the executive chef of Bellmead Historic Site and Winery. I'm honored to be doing this for y'all. We're currently standing in our 1828 Smokehouse. You can see up top we have some hams hanging here. They used to produce thousands and thousands of pounds a day of smoked hams in here. They would start way at the very top and work their way down. So I feel like this is a good place to start our video off doing American barbecue. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go up and talk to our carriage house loft. I'm going to take you through how to prepare a Boston butt as well as some smoked chicken. Come along. All right, y'all, welcome to the culinary loft here at Bellmead. This is an old hay loft above our carriages and our stables, and we have turned it into a place where we do chef-inspired bourbon and food pairings, chef-inspired wine and food pairings. We obviously have a lot of barbecue components in those dishes, and so this is one of the main things we do is a Boston butt. Boston butt is confused a lot of times. People actually think it's from the butt of the pig. It's actually from the shoulder. It's the upper part of the shoulder, and then what's called the shoulder is going to be the lower part of the shoulder. So we use the Boston butt. We use bone in. It's about a 7 to 9 pound butt. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our rub, and then we're going to rub this thing down. So first thing we have is some paprika. So we're just going to put that in there. Next we have just regular white sugar. White sugar in there. Then we have brown sugar. Put our brown sugar in there. Next we have garlic powder. I'm not going to quite use all that. The next we have onion powder. Put that in there. We have our mustard powder. I like to use a Coleman's mustard powder. That's a little spicier, but it gets melted out by the sugar, so it does a really good job marinating the pork. Then we have cumin. I went to culinary school in Denver, Colorado, so cumin's kind of a big part of my spice collection. Then the classic, just kosher salt. I like kosher salt over iodized salt. Just better flavor. And then lastly, we'll have black pepper. So we'll mix all that together, and what's important is having it sit for a day or two. You want all those flavors to come and get together. The longer it sits, the better it's going to be. 7 days is going to be really great. I have some that I've already made right here, and that's what it's going to look like when it's been combined and set together for a while. We're just going to rub our butt now. I don't put anything on mine. Some people put some mustard or some oil. I think just the rub is all you really need. What I like to do is I like to rub it down and let it sit overnight before I smoke it. That's gonna help all the flavors get injected into the fat and into the actual meat, and it'll be much more flavorful pork butt when you're done. So we're just gonna season this, and it takes a good amount. Be sure you rub it in too, and you'll see it'll start to kind of take it in there. Get all sides of it. I'll let this sit overnight. I'll wrap it with plastic wrap, and then in the morning I'll come in and put it in, and I'll let them smoke for about 13 hours. Let's go down to the smoker and I'll show you how we do that. So we like to use hickory wood. This is all Tennessee hickory. You can also use pecan wood, mesquite. There's a lot of different woods you can use. Whatever's local, I would recommend using. Make sure it's kiln dried, and it'll smoke real well for you. We are a restaurant, and at most places, and most of y'all are not going to have this type of smoker. This is what we have. We're going to put our pork in, fat side up. See you in 13 hours. All right, y'all, so now we're going to make our smoked chicken. So how we do that is we make a brine, and a brine is just basically sugar and salt and some seasonings that you're going to marinate overnight, your chicken breast, and then we're just gonna put some rub on there, and we'll smoke it in our smoker with old hickory for about 2 hours to 3 hours. It really depends on what size chicken breast you have, and if you're doing bone-in or boneless. We use a bone-in with the wing attached still. I like with the bones, it's going to help it stay moist when it's smoking. We also do this for our fried chicken. So you can use this brine for smoked chicken or fried chicken. So get some water boiling, and I'll have the recipe for y'all. We use some dried thyme, so we're just gonna put some of that in there. Then we're gonna use some crushed red pepper. That in there. After that, we're gonna use some of our Creole seasoning. I use Black and Redfish Magic from Paul Perdone, but you can use any Cajun or Creole seasoning, and you can add as much or as little of this as you want because it is kind of spicy. But the Paul Perdone Black and Redfish Magic is actually a little less spicy than most Cajun or Creole seasonings. So a little of that, and then we have some garlic powder. We're gonna add a little garlic powder. After our garlic powder, we're gonna add a little black pepper. And then we're gonna add our salt. So you're gonna add a little bit more salt in there. And then brown sugar. A little more brown sugar than the other things. And then lastly, a little apple cider vinegar. So we'll let that reduce down a little bit, and then once it's done, we'll take it off the heat and put it in the fridge to cool down. Once it's cooled down, we'll then put it, you can use Ziploc bags or any kind of container, and put your chicken in there and let it just sit in there overnight. After it comes out overnight, you'll take it out, and then you'll just take some of the barbecue rub that we've made, sprinkle that right over the top like this. You want to put a good amount. You don't want it to be crazy, but that's about right. On the wing there. And then we'll smoke that for about 2 to 3 hours. It really depends on your smoker and what temperature it's holding at. I like to keep it around 250. So the pork shoulder or pork butt will be at 225, and then your smoked chicken will be at 250. Again, if you wanted to smoke it at 225 with the pork shoulder or pork butt, you could do that as well.